Every single week, someone comes to me and says, Liv, why would I pay for a physical location when I can just do telemedicine from my couch? And look, I really get that. I do. The idea of running a medical business from your laptop sounds pretty incredible. No lease, no build out, no staff showing up late. But here's what nobody tells you about telemedicine. You are competing against companies with $50 million or more in venture capital funding, and they're losing money on purpose to crush you. So let me explain why a physical location is still the smarter play, even here in 2026. So I want to walk you through a couple different things actually. First of all, I want to paint a picture of what telemedicine actually looks like when you're starting from zero. You set up a website, you get licensed in 1 or 2 states, or maybe even all, right? You start running ads for GLP-1s, or hormone therapy, or some other peptides, right? And immediately, you're competing against Hims and Hers, Found, Calibrate, Novo, you're competing against Eli Lilly, and 200 other funded companies that are spending millions per month, and on the exact same ads that you're running, right? You're trying to compete with them, but they're spending all of this money that is typically not really that doable for a completely new company. And their cost per lead is typically around $8 or so, but yours is $45 to $60 because they have brand recognition, massive retargeting budgets, and they can afford to lose money on the first 3 months of every patient because they're playing the long game with an investor's money, right? So I want to go a little bit into the margin problem as well, right? Because this is a thing that nobody really talks about. The margins in telemedicine are razor thin. Like you're selling maybe $199 per month subscription for semaglutide, and your cost of goods is $80 to $120, depending on the pharmacy, of course. So your ad cost to acquire that patient is maybe $150 to $300, and I know that's a bit on the high end too, but I want to be pessimistic, conservative with the numbers. Even if your cost per acquisition is $50 to $100, well, you're still only even breaking even in maybe month 2 or 3 or so. And that's even if the patient stays with you for that long. So compare that to a physical MedSpa where a single body contouring package will sell for $3,000 to $5,000, and your cost per delivery is maybe $200 in consumables and staff time. So the unit economics, they're not even close, right? And that's really what I want to dive into. Now, why physical locations win? There is something about having a physical location that gives you a few things that telemedicine never will. As an example, trust. When someone walks into your space, they see your team, sits in the treatment room, they have a real human interaction, they trust you. They come back, they refer their friends and family, they leave reviews, they buy packages. In telemedicine, you're a faceless brand with, just trying to compete on price, really. And the moment someone finds a cheaper option, they're gone. There is zero switching cost, zero loyalty, zero relationship, and I've helped over 150 clinics. The ones with a physical location have patient retention rates for, anywhere between 60 to 70%. But the telemedicine clinics, on a good day, 20 to 30% retention after 90 days. And that's the real difference. So I want to give you real numbers too, right? If we take a look here at a physical med spa that have a patient that are maybe spending on average, $1,200 to $2,400 per year across multiple services. And that's not even that high. I mean, a lot of the med spas we work with, their patients are spending $10,000 or more per year. And yes, that is true. But hey, they come in for Botox, they maybe add a facial, they come in for weight loss, they add body contouring, and they also buy skincare and supplements on their way out. But a telemedicine patient, $199 a month if you're lucky, and they cancel after 4 months when they hit their goal, or maybe they get bored, or maybe they find a better price somewhere else. That's about $800 in lifetime value versus $2,400 in lifetime value. And the physical location patient refers 1.5 new patients on average, but the telemedicine patient refers 0 because they don't even remember your brand name. They just buy it wherever, right? So I want to go into the compounding effect too, because this is what really separates the two. Compounding. Every month, your physical location adds new patients and retains the old ones. Month 6, you have 150 active patients. Month 12, you have 300. And your revenue compounds because people keep on coming back for maintenance treatments. But telemedicine is a leaky bucket, right? You're constantly replacing patients who cancel. And there's no compounding, and it's just a treadmill, really. And I know this is probably the opposite of what you've heard, because a lot of people, they will paint the picture that, telemedicine is reoccurring revenue, it's compounding. Like if you have 150 patients, you make this much amount of money and blah, 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 you don't have to do anything. That all sounds great. And look, it is true. Like if you get to the point where you have really good retention and you get new clients all the time too, and they stick around and blah blah blah, and they spend good money and you have good margins, fantastic. But the truth is, it is just not that easy. And I'm telling you that, and I know it's not what you want to hear, but I'm telling you that because I hate to see when people fail. I hate to see when people go into a business, they think they're going to make a lot of money and be successful and finally get freedom, but it is just nothing compared to what they were actually told. Because I know there's a lot of companies out there that will tell you it is a get-rich-quick scheme and it's so easy. It's not. It's a tough game. It is such a tough game. And while you can start for less amount of money than with a physical location, that's not even true, because you got to spend so much more money acquiring the patients that it doesn't even matter. But you can actually get profitable faster with a physical location. So I know I'm going on a tangent, but it is so important for me to say. Now, quick pause. If you're trying to decide between telemedicine and a physical location, or maybe you want to do both eventually, I have a free MedSpa cost breakdown that shows you exactly what it costs you to open up a physical location. Real numbers, not inflated ones. Link in the description, right? Grab it and come back to the video. So there is a hybrid model. I'm saying that telemedicine is completely useless. Am I? No, I'm not. But here's when it makes sense. As an add-on to your physical location, not as a primary business, right? One of our clients, Jason in Corpus Christi, Texas, did $47,000 in his third month. Not in 3 months total, but in the third month, in 30 days, right? He did $47,000 with a physical clinic. And a year later, once he had a strong local brand, hundreds of reviews, and a full patient base, then he added telemedicine, right? Because now he could do that as a secondary revenue stream, and it works so well for him because he already has the brand now. He's got the trust and the infrastructure. He's not starting from zero, competing against hims and hers, right? That's the play. Build the physical location first and dominate your market, then layer telemedicine on top when you really have the brand equity to support it. And I know this is just some numbers here, but go on our YouTube right now, check out the interview with Jason. We got an interview about 10-15 minutes long where he explains how he did this, okay? So let's break down the numbers. 100 to 150K to start. Break even in 4 to 6 months. 500K to $1.2 million in revenue in year one, with 40% profit margins once stabilized. And patients should come back for years. Telemedicine, only like 30, competing against companies that just have, $5 million, $10 million to spend a month on ads. And yes, a month, millions of dollars every month. And your margins are 15 to 25%. Patient churn is 70% annually, and you have zero defensibility. Anyone can copy your exact model tomorrow. The physical location costs more upfront, but builds something that actually compounds in value. The telemedicine play looks cheap, but it's a race to the bottom. So I want to go into some questions that I get. Right? Everyone asks me this one question, and I get it every single week. If you want to build a real business that generates wealth, that gives you recurring revenue and community of loyal patients, build a physical location. Full stop. If you want a side hustle that might make you 5 to 10 grand a month, but will never really scale beyond that without massive capital to do so, do telemedicine. Right? We're not the biggest advocates for telemedicine because we've seen what happens, and people come to us after spending a year trying to make it work online, burning through 30 to 50K, maybe more, in ads with nothing to show for it. And they hired some agencies that did not deliver, and they wish they had just started with physical location from day one. But now they burned all this money, so now they're like, well, how can I just make it work? Like, how can I make it work? Because I don't want to also spend money on a physical location now because I built this, and it's just not good. Don't be that person. Build something real. Build something local, and build something that compounds, all right? So to recap, telemedicine is sexy, but the economics don't work when you're competing against funded giants. And physical locations cost more upfront, but the margins are 2 times better. The retention is 3 times better, and you're building real equity. The smart play? Well, physical first. Telemedicine later as an add-on once you have the brand equity, because then why not add it, right? It's so easy to set up. If you want to see the full cost breakdown of what it actually takes to open up a physical med spa, grab the free guide in the description. And if you want to see real results from clinics that we have launched, check out the videos in this series on our YouTube channel, on our website, wherever you want to go. And I want to make sure that you get as much knowledge, tips and tricks, do's and don'ts about how to launch a med spa successfully as possible. So I'll see you there.